Restarting. Oh, we're back. We're live. Oh boy, here we go. All right.
We're a little crooked.
We're trying.
We came back. That's just your eyes.
That's just your eyes.
Yeah,
all right.
They're no good. Everything looks blurry.
Let's do this again. Yes? Cool. In 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. It's time for another episode of the Chicago. This is going crazy again. Why did the test work fine, but then that one didn't? That's nutballs. So nutballs. Hey, everybody, it's time for another episode of the Chicago 60 Podcast. And this week we have some amazing topics for you to discuss, including
the Air and Water Show.
Bus, trains, cars, planes. How do you get around Chicago? We don't know.
We're going to discuss all of that. And of course, we're also going to have the Jagoff of the Week. All of that on this week's episode. And gentlemen, it is now time for the podcast. It's time for the podcast. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Hey, everybody. It's me. I'm Mario. Just kidding. It's your illustrious host of the Chicago 60 Podcast, Justin J. Ward, for those of you who don't speak French. And on my far left is the other co-host,
Norman Burt. And for those people who don't speak French, that's Norman.
That's right, Storm and Norm is here. And we have one of our reoccurring guests, part of the crew of the Chicago 60, and a good friend. We have with us again this week.
I don't speak French. I'm Joe Nilo.
Joe Nilo. It's more Italian.
Yeah,
it's a little more Italian.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ron Russell is not with us this week. He'll be back next week, more than likely. He's unpacking from his recent move, and we all know that moving is a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So Godspeed to him, and cheers to the podcast, gentlemen.
Cheers to the podcast.
To the podcast.
Now, for those who are listening to the podcast now, what you don't know is that this is probably our third cheers because we had a little bit of technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
But if you've been watching the Facebook Live, you've noticed that we've been drinking a little bit.
Yes, we have had some drinks, so hopefully this time around, everything goes smooth. So, yeah.
That was smooth.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
So, gentlemen, we have some fun topics to discuss.
Yeah.
So, one is what happened this weekend.
Fighter jets invading Chicago.
That's right, the Air and Water Show. We also are going to discuss what is the best transportation in the city, so that should be more interesting. And then we've got a couple of shout-outs, and then, of course, the Jagoff of the Week. And I am very excited about this week's Jagoff of the Week.
It really is.
It's going to get cray up in her. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, gentlemen, how were your weekends? Norm, I'm going to start with you because we have some very fun news to discuss.
Yes. So exciting stuff happened this weekend. On Saturday, we got done. We wrapped up. If you looked on our Facebook, we wrapped up filming our first short film. We are getting ready to enter it in the enter it in the roadie film competition. Hopefully, there's a lot of entries that will be involved, but we're hoping to do our best. We're hoping to do some great work, and we'll put it out there for you to see soon. But mainly it's for to win some prizes, to win some equipment, to kind of better our setup and see if we can make some even better skits and do some better work.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we did a film shoot on July 3rd, and we're currently editing those. We have one completed, and we have two more that I will be editing tomorrow with our good friend Landon Smith, who will be on the podcast.
Shout out.
He is, shout out to Landon Smith. He's going to be on the podcast.
765.
That's right, because we have, next week, folks, we have a whole brand new setup. Because as long as Amazon Prime is not leading me astray with tracking numbers, I will have brand new equipment and a kitchen table. What? Kevin Hart? Just kidding. He's not going to be on the podcast yet. But he's also from Philly, so fuck him.
Well, he's waiting for you to get a new table. So.
Yeah, exactly. He's been like, yo, bitch, this is your table?
Man,
This ain't
it's
nothing, son. But yeah, no. So we will have a brand new view, and we've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. All of these short comedy videos will be released in September. We're doing the pregame show at the Chicago Bears Tailgating Club, the CBTC, which is in the South Loop across from the bar Reggie's. We'll give you more details about that in the next week's podcast and moving forward, so be pumped for that. And we just got a lot of other, and starting in September, we will legitimately be having the guests on. That is definitely happening. It's because we will finally have the kitchen table and all of the new audio equipment. We're getting brand new mics. We're getting stands. I mean, we're getting a backdrop. I mean, we're gonna be legit as F coming very soon. But Norm, please tell us a little bit more about the Roadie Film Festival and tell the folks a little teaser of what it's about.
So the Roadie Film Fest is pretty much, they're requesting short films from all over the world actually. 3 minutes and then an additional 3 minutes behind the scenes using one of their pieces of equipment. So we set up behind the scenes shots and behind the scenes footage, which is a lot of the pictures that you might have seen. And we put it in for a competition, and hopefully we'll win some Roadie products, or even just have make it to one of the categories we're really excited about. The premise of it, I guess just the short, small premise, is it's pretty much a breakup scene. It's a weed dealer breaking up with his dealee, I guess, or the person he deals to. So that person breaks up with his weed dealer, and he has to let them down easy. So
yeah,
is this an autobiography?
Sort of.
It could be. It could be.
Sort of.
The scene takes place in the future, if you will. And Norm, who was part of it this week?
So we have wonderful Justin Jawar was involved.
That's me!
Manny Fresh brought us a lot of great camera equipment and a lot of information that we did not know, so shout out to Manny Fresh for everything he did that day. Ron Russell fucking kicked ass as a fucking lead actor, which was great, and myself. So it was
the other lead actor. We were all lead actors.
Yeah.
In this play we call life.
And it was a lot of funny moments, a lot of great stuff. I'm really excited to get it out as soon as possible.
We have got pictures, videos. We're editing the video this Wednesday with Manny Fresh and Ron Russell. It's going to be a great scene that we will have for the Chicago 60. Our new production company will be starting out, and then also to send in for the Roadie Film Festival. And we're hoping that we'll win some of the categories they have and some other things. So it's pretty funny. There's a lot of funniness involved in this sketch. So we're really excited to put it out, as well as all the other comedy sketches and all the other things that we're going to be doing. We got a busy couple months going on. We got some more short films that we're going to be filming. We're going to be doing some more improv comedy scenes that we'll be doing, very short stuff, and so there's a lot coming out from us. So be pumped for that. It's going to be on our YouTube channels. It's going to be on our Facebook page. Some stuff on Instagram. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a hoot and a holler, as they say.
A hoot and
a holler. Play the banjo. I don't know.
Yeah, keep doing that.
Yeah, you think I get in banjo? Joe, how was your weekend, my friend? You have some interesting news.
Well,
you had something you really wanted to talk about.
Well, I mean, damn, like you guys, like that's pretty cool stuff. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this weekend I was also in a competition. Pardon me for saying, but it was a much greater competition. In fact, it was the world's greatest disorganized, unofficial ultimate frisbee team in the ultimate frisbee tournament in the world. That's what we decided to call ourselves. And I got the shirt, which people can see wearing, and I got the shirt because I won.
Well, they won't see it on the podcast.
Well, you'll see it on the
on the Facebook Live.
Yeah.
You might be able to see his shirt.
Yeah, but
imagine a shirt where it's black and it has brown writing on it.
Yeah, it's got the number 10 on it because it was our 10th anniversary. So no, this is I'm joking about it. It's actually pretty cool kind of thing. It's been suggested that someone make a documentary about that. Probably in about 10 years or another 10 years or so, people might. But it's kind of cool. So people have been playing Ultimate Frisbee every single Tuesday night in this one park in Downers Grove for the last 15 years. It's been going on where just random people have come together and made a lot of good friends that way. People have come and gone, but there's always guaranteed you will find Ultimate Frisbee going on at McCullen Park in Downers Grove every single Tuesday night. And anybody who shows up is welcome to play, and you will have a good time and you will make friends. And this has been going on for 15 years, and for the last 10 years we've had a tournament once a year where people get together, and there was a guy who flew in from Seattle, all the way from Seattle. He came in just to see his good friends and to try to beat them in this tournament. And so I got a shout out that so I won. And that's that's the only reason I'm talking about this. Let's be real here. Like if I didn't win, I wouldn't have mentioned this at all.
The main thing is that Joe won.
Yeah, and I beat my really good friend. And that's actually the more important thing, because let's be real, for those of you out there who have friends, who have good friends, who I'm sure there's some of you out there, and if your friends are very good at something, you know that there's nothing better in life than beating them at that thing they're very good at. Right?
True. Yeah.
In fact, for the people out there watching or listening, we would like to hear some of your stories. I would anyway. Send us stories of beating your friends and things and that they think they're good at. I'd love to hear them.
So I do have,
we may feature your story if it's good enough.
Because I think it's so interesting. How long have you been a part of it? Like the full, what you said, like 15 years?
So, me personally, about 10 or so. I don't actually know. I haven't been counting. I don't know if that 15 number is official either. I kind of made that. I was not one of the people who started it.
It would be a part of this unofficial group for you to have an unofficial number.
Yeah, no. So we called ourselves. I did not organize it at all. Shout out to the people who did, but they called it the
random people who started this. Shout out to you.
Well, the people who ran this tournament this weekend were not even the people who originally started it. What's interesting, a lot of the people who were there was one guy who's been there every time, but for the rest, there's people who've come and gone, and we imagine that'll still be around 20, 30 years from now, and then there'll be a documentary. So I was disappointed it was not at Sports Center.
You're gonna be like that movie where they had the guys with the tag tournament. Where they were? Do you see that?
I'm not sure it's that interesting.
It's that dumb movie where
did anybody see that
in a
movie?
tag tournament for like 4 decades.
No, I've never seen that.
I haven't either because it was bad.
Yeah, nobody saw that.
But they made a movie out of it because I have to admit, a 40-year-old game of tag, that's...
If you've seen that movie, tell us if it was any good.
It wasn't. It got horrible reviews. Anyways, that's very cool.
If they filmed it live,
it's pretty awesome.
Now, if they filmed the tag tournament live, then that might be more interesting, a documentary about it. That would be better.
The whole point of the story, though, was that they all moved away, lived in other parts of the country, but then they would get together for like an event or something, and then they would still tag, and then they would have like the tag battle there.
So they would just pat each other and be like, "Hey, Brian, hey, how you doing?" Like, "You're it, bitch." And then let's walk away.
Well, they would sometimes forget who actually was the tagger because
they would forget who was it.
Yeah,
because years and years of being apart and moving on with your lives.
That's correct.
Never forget who
we're
was
not
it.
Infants.
Well, hey, I mean, at least they're that good of friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is pretty awesome though. With your
And
I think this should be a documentary.
I grew up not too far away from McCullen Park. I used to go to McCullen Park, so I know exactly where you. I think I came for one game once.
Really?
Yeah. You invited me out. I came out.
No, you come out again.
Yeah, it's all right.
Anyone out there once? You're always welcome.
I'm not gonna go there.
I wouldn't know you.
That's all right.
There's people who play soccer there. I'm
sure there are. I'm sure there are. But all right. Well, moving right along in other news.
Well, it's the
get
same
to
news. It was this weekend.
Yeah, but now we're. God, you are the worst when it comes to transitions.
What's this one? We set up.
When we do a transition, and you're like, "Well, wait, it's the same."
No, we set up a segue about the weekend.
Jesus. Yeah, but now we're going on to a more important topic. So it's not just the weekend. Fucking hell, Joe. All right. Well, I guess according to Joe, not in utter news. But,
in the same news.
In the same news. Let's talk about the Air and Water Show, which is exactly the same as a frisbee tournament in the Towers Grill.
Oh, we were talking about what was happening over the weekend.
Oh, God almighty. All right.
So
the Air and Water Show was this past weekend. So let's talk about that.
Freaking awesome.
All right, so Norm believes it was freaking awesome.
No, it was great.
Norm, let's hear your argument for that.
I was worried because the Air and Water Show got canceled on Sunday because it was rainy. It was raining all weekend. And so it got canceled until, postponed until 1 o'clock. And so they came correct. Like, I thought it was going to be kind of boring. Like, I didn't think we were, because they do all the stunts near Navy Pier. And so we just went straight. We were still in Lakeview. Like,
have you seen this show before?
No. So freshly wise, but I've seen, being an Army brat, I've seen a lot of flying in air shows, enough air shows. But this was great. Like, we were comfortable because everyone's kind of strung along Lake Michigan. Not all the people who really want to go to North Ave Beach. So they forced themselves over there, but everyone's kind of strung along Lake Michigan. They flew up and down the lake. It was really cool. A lot of great stuff. Pretty fucking great stuff. And then the Blue Angels flew around, and they were in formation the entire time, and then coming out of formation, and flips and tricks and drops and dead drops and stuff like that. And it made me feel like I wanted to scream. I wasn't sure why people weren't screaming like America. Like, I'm really confused why.
Was there music?
No, there was no music. Not at least on my end.
America.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised because there were points where they were just like, at one point, which my favorite part was, we're sitting here and we see the collective of planes, and we're looking over at the distance, and everyone's looking one way. And I turn to my left, and someone goes, hey, and there's like a small little dot, and then that dot gets huge, and then it just goes through, and all of a sudden you hear this big pop, and everyone just jumps. And so then right after that, everyone's watching every which way to see where the planes are coming from. But it was so loud and powerful that half the time you just wanted to scream for no good reason. It was pretty dope.
Did you ever feel like you were under attack?
So my first year here, yeah. My first year here, no one said anything about it. So I was walking down the West Loop, and they fly from like O'Hare and Indiana and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they come in through
because
the city.
they go crazy fast.
Yeah.
They cover the distance very quickly.
At one point though, I was like, they probably just went straight to Ohio and then came back for 5 because they disappeared for 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, they probably went to Ohio, came back through. Like, hey, we just kind of spread it around a little bit. But like my first year here, I was in the West Loop.
People in Ohio are very confused.
Right? Like, what the fuck is
happening?
Oh goddamn, it was the Chicago Air and Water Show again.
Fucking assholes in Chicago.
But I'm walking in the city in the West Loop, and all of a sudden, no one says anything, and they're just zoom. And so of course Chicago people are like,
wait. What was the noise again?
Zoom.
Oh, that sounds dope.
And so I'm standing there like, oh shit. Oh God, we're gonna die. And people are just kind of walking along with, oh, fucking Air and Water Show, God, I hate this place. And I'm like, what's happening? And then another one comes through, and I'm like, okay, no one else is
No noise for that one? No noise for that one?
Yes,
actually.
Yeah, that is exactly.
It also sounds like you might be whipping cream.
I was gonna be like, it's a little mixture of that, yeah, but a little bit more power.
For those who have not lived in the city downtown area, like the 2 days before, it's not even the weekend. It's the Thursday, Friday before. Your day is just interrupted by fighter jets just flying straight overhead.
Yep, that is correct.
Just loud ass jets, and especially if you're working in a tall building, and you're like, oh shit, like there goes my meetings for the day.
Yeah.
Did they do the show after 9/11?
I'm sure they did.
I'm sure they did too. Yeah.
I mean, one would hope and assume it's American fighter pilots that are flying.
Well, yeah.
I don't think they're gonna,
But
fly
I just
into
wonder
buildings.
if people are a bit more jumpy than.
That's true, I suppose.
The first time you ever hear it, you'll jump.
Well,
You will definitely jump.
If it happened at the same time, then it would have happened before September 11th. And then the next year that it rolled around,
right? It would be like a year later.
Yeah.
My thoughts on it is it's annoying as fuck. I don't like it. I mean, I'm all for America. Fuck yeah. I'm all for that. So I mean, I don't want it to end. I want it to continue. I just want to complain about it.
Was it a parade sponsored by Trump?
No. However, the parade sponsored by Trump was supposed to be dope. I wasn't there, but it was supposed to be amazing. Like everybody said, it was awesome.
I think everyone's issue with it is that it starts Thursday.
Right.
Like, it's not that it's like, oh, it's for the weekend, because I mean, it was literally like 4 hours. It was like a quick 4 hours.
Here's my reaction, which is like everybody in Chicago's reaction. You're like going about your day, because you forget that it comes up. Mm-hmm. You're just like, oh, okay, just another weekend in August, and then all of a sudden you're.
No, that's not bad.
Thank you. I've been. Thank you.
You extended that a little bit.
Thank you very much. And
and you look around for where it is, but there's no plane because by that point the plane has already passed.
Yeah, exactly. Right, of course, because science. But maybe we can have Bill Nye on the podcast and he can explain it because apparently he's an expert in all things despite not having a science degree.
He is also an expert in ultimate frisbee, by the way.
Oh, well, that's good information. That's useless. So, so anyway, you hear the
random thing.
And then I just go, god damn it. Shit. That's this weekend. Because it means more traffic. Okay. It means a bunch of idiot tourists. Well, like, what? You get these fat fucks from Ohio coming in. Because they're like, I've heard this in Ohio. I'm at least go see the damn planes. So they all come in. Let's make a trip to Chicago. It'll be fun. And you get all these dumbass people walking around, don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yep. They're causing, it's bad enough there's already enough people in Chicago. And then you get all these dumbass people walking around. Oh, let's get some deep dish pizza. They're crowding up the stores. They're crowding up the sidewalks. I'm trying to get somewhere. They're like, what is it? They got their binoculars because that makes fucking sense. I'm tired of these people walking the fuck around.
I feel like you need a rocking chair and a shotgun for this range.
Well,
you need a lawn to say, get off my lawn.
I tell you what, guys, I'm getting fucking sick and tired of these goddamn people. So, yeah.
But I feel like, isn't that every Bears, Sox, Cubs game? Like, isn't that every venue?
I believe we had the same discussion about beaches in Chicago.
Yeah, right.
And also about iconic things.
There's just too many people, folks.
I will say this, though. Once you go, though, it's fucking worth it. Like, I mean, I thought it was going to be stupid, and it was pretty amazing.
No, I imagine it is. There is an element of awe.
You've never seen it?
I've never. No, I don't think so. Well, I mean, I've seen it, but I haven't seen it.
You haven't actually seen it?
Right.
Because especially when you aren't in the tourist area, when you're in the locals area, pretty much, where everyone just kind of...
Well, that's the hard part, is finding a spot, because the lake is crowded.
It's not actually at all.
Well, if you know where to... If you find a good spot to get to, because did you walk?
Yeah.
So, that's... the main advantage. If you don't walk.
Yeah, if you don't walk, you're kind of fucked to go into North Ave Beach, and that's where you're gonna be.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is the one nice thing about it is you can watch it or be entertained by it without having to like really purchase a ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a nice thing.
Exactly.
It's like a free show.
Mm-hmm. And if you do know where to go, you can find some good space on it.
True. Here's a question: what is the water part of the show?
That's what I've been trying to figure out. Okay,
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I sat there and asked because there were boats everywhere. Before we continue, hashtag normally the boat.
That's right.
So as I was outside,
you saw all those boats out there.
I watched this amazing production in the air, and I look in front of me, and there's just a layer of boats. Just boats beyond boats beyond boats.
Boats galore.
And the issue
are these local boats watching the show?
Oh, they were definitely local boats.
Were there military boats too?
No, not at all.
So no military boats.
No military boats. And but there was one thing that I noticed about every single boat. I was not on one. I noticed that I was not on any of those boats, and I was very upset.
I am upset for you.
I'm disappointed.
I was so disappointed.
I'm disappointed in everybody.
But then I understood that none of those people listen to the podcast, so that's understandable. But
they will.
They should.
They will one day.
But no.
Can we hack whatever they're listening to on their boats? And interrupt it.
No.
If we could, then we would be doing that for everyone.
If we could, we'd be Julian Assange.
It would be. There'd be.
We gotta WikiLeaks.
Look, we gotta be responsible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Joe. Your task is to figure out how to do that without us getting in trouble.
As we say it on the podcast.
That's right. Exactly.
But
in front of all 5 people.
What is the water part? There were people on Sea-Doos kind of doing their thing, but they were just.
I believe there's people on jet skis and things. There's apparently that's what I think because I've heard of other airline shows.
I was gonna suggest
I think that's the part that you need the ticket for because they only do it around it, is my guess. But the air part with
So I was gonna say that I'm not positive about this. I could very much be wrong, but I believe that the water part is earlier in the morning. And so you were saying that you came late because or that it was you said the beginning part was canceled because of the storm.
Yeah.
So usually the air part starts around 1 or 2 or something, and I think the water part is earlier.
But
in
here's
the day.
the thing.
I don't actually know that because every time I have gone, I have got there late.
Yeah.
Because I'm late for everything.
And the only thing they ever show is
That is
the
a
air
fact.
part. The only thing they ever show in pictures are the Blue Angels.
Yeah, because the boats just go up and down. I mean,
Exactly.
the Blue Angels is the highlight, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't really know if, or maybe it was there was an air and water part, but then they're but everyone comes for the air. So let's just keep going.
How long have they been doing the air and water show?
That is a great question.
I don't know, let me see if I can find out.
It's been.
And I'm wondering how long when it's been changed. Like when was the last time we had something new out there?
Which is also why I'm kind of perturbed by it because it always seems to be the same thing. Jets just flying by. It's don't they have any other? I'd rather see some shit from World War II flying around.
That would be cool.
That would be way cooler.
I did have a moment where I was man, imagine if the Wright brothers got to stand here and see this, and they'd just be shitting themselves, what the fuck is going on? And there's just planes
My
going
God!
up.
Look at our invention having taken off, John.
But they're
Wilbur.
Look at that, Wilbur.
Where's the other one?
Yes, I see you there, guy.
Orville.
Is it really?
I think it's Orville.
I think so.
I thought it was Orville Redenbacher.
No, I think
He was
it's
Orville.
Orville Wright.
Orville Wright and Wilbur Wright.
Yeah.
Well, there's
And
a lot
you
of
know those are
good
some names
Orvilles.
from the early 1900s.
Yeah.
Do you know any Orvilles or Wilburs today? No. They all dead.
Well, maybe they'll bring it back.
No, I don't think that's happening.
You wouldn't name your kid Orville?
Not unless I really hated him.
That's not so bad.
You illegitimate child, your name shall be Orville, and you shall be made fun of for the rest of your life.
I mean, they do sound like characters from 1984.
They do. Yeah. All right. Well,
That's worse than Love.
I think it's time to move right along in other news. All right, let's get to this second topic, which should be quite fun.
Transportation.
We had another good segue here. So we were talking about the down part of the air and water show. The main complaint is that it gets really hella crowded out there, and it can be difficult to get to. But as Norm pointed out, well, he was able to get there pretty easily because he walked.
Because I walked.
Right. Well, so here's the topic. What transportation in the city of Chicago is the best?
Well, clearly it's the Blue Angels.
Right. Well, when you want to get from Chicago to Ohio in half a second, make sure to reach out to your friendly Blue Angel fighter pilot.
Can you imagine?
And hop a quick ride, moving right along. Hey, it could be free, or it might cost a lot of money.
Can you imagine a businessman hey, you passed my stop about 2 minutes ago. I'm going to stay over.
You have to jump out of the cockpit.
Oh, I'm going to flip over and we'll go around.
How
Is that the new Uber?
How funny would that be? Is if they had Blue Angels fly people around, and then as soon as it's they had a compartment where for one person it's $1,000 a seat, and then as soon as you're around your destination, you just hit the button and you get shot out of the sky, and then you float down. That would be pretty fucking.
I'm sure Uber is working on something like that.
It's probably gonna be your friend Elon Musk, if anything.
Yeah, I think he actually is making a helipad.
Yeah.
Well, he's making a lot of.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, but Uber just got new offices. I just read this.
True.
Right? In the old post office, that building's sitting right over 290.
This is true.
I thought they were tearing it down, or
Nope, now Uber's in there because they're cutting costs.
Yep.
We can't afford fancy stuff anymore.
no Blue Angels.
I will say, though, my favorite form of transportation in the city, to me, which is almost the most reliable, are the buses.
Really?
I'm a bus fan. I'm truly a bus fan because the benefit of the bus is I can get off at any point. So if I'm going the wrong way, which I could very well be, I can get off and then go across the street and go the right way. There are multiple buses going everywhere. Most of the time, you have to wait for a little bit, but you can get a seat. Unlike the trains where they usually packed, they often smell like piss. And they're kind of just going. And then don't get on the metro because...
Let me ask you a question, though. You ever get to your bus stop right as the bus is leaving, and like where you're like knocking on the door, but the door is already closed, and that driver, he's not stopping, and he keeps going, and the next bus don't come for 20 minutes?
No, because I never run after anything.
I chased the bus before.
I kind of understand.
I chased buses. You can chase buses. You can't chase the train.
I see bullshit. You can chase a train, you'll just end up on the tracks.
You can't chase the train.
You can't chase the train.
You can't chase the train. Yeah, that's very interesting that you say the buses. I'm definitely an L guy for sure. If I'm gonna take any public transportation, I mean, if I take a bus, it's to get me to an L. The bus is too damn slow, man. I took a bus from the United Center to home. It took me a fucking hour, dude. Fuck that.
That is a great amount of time to do a lot of great things.
What are you gonna do?
You can read, you can listen to music.
How are you gonna read on a Chicago bus?
Our podcast is an hour. You can listen to our podcast.
That is also true.
That's a really great thing to do.
You can also do that on the L, though.
Yeah, true. But the last time I was on the L, I got on the L, and we were in a decently empty car. We're sitting down, and there's a guy in a white tank top, baggy pants, hand down his pants, just masturbating and laughing. Now, laughing. And so I see him first, but my girlfriend does not. And I'm like, well, we're sitting here now.
So who's he looking at?
Well, both of us. We're sitting right across from him. And I'm one of those people who I'm like, I can't let you win. So
did you just keep staring at
I did. I had to.
Oh my God.
I had to.
So in this story, in order to not lose, you kept looking at a man masturbating on the bus.
I didn't see him masturbating. I looked him in his eyes. Okay.
All right.
I kept eye contact.
The masturbation was within your view.
Yeah, well, he was
He kept going, maintaining eye contact.
Well, so he kind of wavered a few times, and
did he look uncomfortable or did he look pleased?
You know what? Surprisingly, he looked okay. I think he felt like he was in his moment, so he was like, "I'm not gonna let you out crazy me," and I'm like, "I'm not trying to. I just want you to take your hands out your pants." And then my girlfriend ushered us off into a new car, so I didn't really get to finish that battle. So I feel like he won in the end, but. That's the last time I was on the L, and I don't see people masturbating on the bus.
So which line was this?
So your argument is the buses are better because you can get off and on any time.
Exactly.
You get it wrong, and there are less people masturbating on the buses.
Pretty much.
Wow, though that is a strong argument.
It's pretty deep.
I have to say.
Tell me.
However, you can also get off and on the L if you go the wrong way.
It's gonna take you a while.
But typically it won't cost you, because if you miss a bus, it's going to cost you an extra 25 cents.
No, it doesn't. Not if you buy the pass.
If you got it for 30-day pass.
But if even within I think it's like 2 hours or something, it's $2.50 to initially start to get on any CTA, and then anytime you make a change, whatever, it's like an additional 25 cents.
Right. No.
Yes.
Within the 2 hour, 3 hour window.
But if you get the 30-day,
another $2.50.
If you get the 30-day pass, then it's not.
If you have the 30-day pass, it doesn't do that. But also, have you ever noticed that when you're on a line or when you're on the L, one car is going to smell like piss.
One's going to smell like shit, and one's going to have homeless person that makes it smell rank as fuck.
Specifically the brown line.
dude, all lines. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
true.
The red line might be the best.
Still, I don't know. Oh yeah, okay.
Because it's the fastest. Most of the homeless folks like to be on the longer one because there's more stops in more time.
True.
It takes longer, so they get more rest time.
The blue one is.
The blue line is horrible.
Well, the blue line.
I've taken the blue line so many times.
Yeah.
There's so many times where I'll walk in and I'll be like, oh god.
Yeah.
And
then you don't want to be a bad person because you're like, well, I don't want to be an asshole and like move cars or because then everybody's gonna see me that I don't want to deal with this homeless person. But also, I shouldn't have to deal with this homeless person.
Side note: why don't we have places for those people to go?
We do. They're called homeless shelters.
But I don't think
I thought you were gonna say they're called the trains. They run.
Yes, the trains.
I mean, I thought the blue and red were the word, but that's because they run 24/7. So most of the trains don't.
Brown
Some buses
doesn't.
do. Shout out to Western Bus. The Western Bus and the Lawrence Bus. They had many a late night on those buses.
Like I also think there's just a kind of you have either a long bus or kind of a short bus, and you have those two options.
You don't want to be on the short bus.
You definitely don't want to be on the short bus.
Hey,
They give you helmets.
Don't worry about the short bus. Okay, the short bus is like shout out to the 36 one of the strangest buses that I love being on. Because it's nice and then it gets weird at times and then it gets
Which
nice
is the 36? I only know the street names.
36 is Broadway, pretty much straight Broadway. It goes all the way downtown and comes back. But I met I've had some great stories on the 36.
Okay.
They're fantastic.
Do we get to hear one now?
Oh, sure. Okay, so one situation where the first time we got here, on the 36 bus, there was this lady, she was sitting in, she had a big duffel bag, a bunch of papers. And so she's just sitting there and she's yelling stuff and she's saying things, she's seeing demons and things like that. You know, she had some mental issues, which, you know, we're all sitting on the bus and we're like, hey, you let out your emotions. Go ahead. We're not going to bother you. And we're sitting there and she's like, everyone on this bus is going to hell. Every single person. You. And then she points at this one kid who's right in front of her. She's like, you're going to hell. And this kid is just staring at her. And she's like, you're going to hell. But everyone else, she's like, everyone else is going to hell. But the only person is our Savior in grace, Enrique Iglesias. He is going to heaven. He is king. And I'm like, out of all the things you just said, Enrique Iglesias was... I'm like, why him?
Because he's a beautiful man with a wonderful singing voice.
I wanted to. I decided not to get into her business because she had a bunch of papers. I didn't want to, like... Crazy. Because at first I was like, is she just a professor?
She's teaching a class at a local university.
No joke.
The worship of Enrique Iglesias. You can get a degree in this.
I was like, did she have a moment where she just broke and she's just a professor? But no, the buses to me are so fucking entertaining.
But we could have a whole
compared to
this segment. CTA stories.
We can bring this. We will. One thing we're going to do in the near future is when we start having legitimate guests on, we're going to have the podcast and then we're going to have couch stories. So you will continue to see this couch. It'll just be a different segment and we're calling it a different thing and it'll be different content. Primarily sharing stories. So why don't we, gentlemen here, share, because we're also forgetting taxis and Ubers at the moment. Because we're talking about transportation.
We haven't even got to my pick.
What's your pick?
Out with it, Joe. Yeah, I just got caught back up on Lauren's story though. But I was just gonna make a comment about the Broadway, just because Broadway is the most interesting street to me because
you asked Joe a simple question, and just like the transitions, he goes backwards.
You know what?
Son of a bitch, Joe.
I just find Broadway like a really interesting street.
It is
because from where it begins, it just kind of just comes out of nowhere, out of Clark Street. And from there to Addison, it's like one of the nicest streets in all of Chicago. I mean, it's just beautiful, immaculate, clean, safe, really, really, really nice. And then north of Addison, it's just crackheads everywhere.
Yeah, you hit that uptown part.
Yeah. Addison, it's like a straight border. It's bizarre, like how it just transitions
Can we just call it for what it is? It's the gays, man.
No, it's beautiful.
The gays make it beautiful.
No. During
Broadway and Halstead.
It's north of
area.
As soon as you go north of Boys Town, it's like that
Yeah.
line. Like once north of Boys Town,
Once
that's
you
when it gets like.
once you hit that Wingstop, that first Wingstop up there, then it's just like it gets
I think
crazy.
there's like a bunch of like drug rehab centers.
Do you
there.
think it's
That's-
because of the
that's why.
Wingstop?
I think it's because of the Wingstop. No, because once you get into Uptown, though, the best fucking Argyle is fucking brilliant. Like some of the greatest food in the area. It's a smaller version of Chinatown, but it's great. So that way you don't have to go all the way to Chinatown to get really good food. A lot of Vietnamese.
That's the
a lot of
Vietnamese
Thai
town.
food.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Vietnamese and Thai, yeah.
So it's really great, but there is some weird ass seedy points where you're just like, I'm not gonna walk here too late.
Yeah.
Like we walked back one night through that Uptown area, and it was late night. And as we were walking by, we were passing the T-Mobile. Like there was a T-Mobile stand. Window was broken right open. Alarm was going off, and I was like, I'm not gonna be here for long. I'm just gonna keep walking. Just keep her moving. Shut up, Charlie Brown. Keep her moving.
Keep her moving there, guy.
All right. So anyway,
All right, Joe. So what's your pick?
look, it's definitely biking, and anybody who has ever
the old bicycle.
well, anybody who's ever ridden, anybody who's ever
ever ridden a bicycle,
Anybody who's
aka
ever
the entire
tried
planet.
to get around the city of Chicago by some means of transportation other than a bicycle, and then has ridden a bicycle through the city as a means of transportation, knows that there is simply no comparison. The bike is the way to go.
Now, here's a question for you, Joe.
Yeah.
Is the bicycling in Chicago? Have you been to Amsterdam?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So, have you bicycled in Amsterdam?
I honestly don't remember. I know I tried to. I did not. I'm going to
Because
answer your
the
question.
reason why
I know where
I
you're
asked
going with this.
is because Chicago has tried to mirror, and they did an article about this in the Tribune, I want to say. Still not a sponsor. But they did an article in the
They don't
Tribune
have
a
any
while
money.
ago.
Do they have money?
Yeah, of course they have money. They're fucking Chicago Tribune.
Every newspaper losing money. Yeah.
No, the Tribune's doing
All right,
fine.
good for them.
Yeah, give us sponsorships. Damn you. So the Chicago Tribune. No, no, we can. You know what? We're not getting into this. The Chicago Tribune. It's a great periodical of Chicago. Now, they did do an article before. I said it was a while ago, and they were talking about the comparisons between Amsterdam and Chicago, and how Chicago people, even from Amsterdam, were saying that bicycling in Chicago is better and safer than in Amsterdam. I just submit this because there's too many goddamn people bicycling in Amsterdam, so like you could have just as many collisions in Amsterdam from bicycling than I wouldn't want to drive there. I mean, anybody who's been to Amsterdam knows driving a car there is like horrific. It's
so is
easier just
riding
to bicycle.
No, riding a bicycle is horrific there too.
I mean, there's no. I mean, it's probably just best to walk. It's
definitely-
a small enough
it's
city you
definitely
can
best
walk
to
around.
walk.
And it's in a giant circle. So
No,
literally
no,
if you
I'm
turn
sorry.
left, you get to the middle.
What are
That's literally what they
no,
say there. Just turn left, and you'll be fine.
Look, what are we talking about?
We're talking about Chicago.
Yeah, but in Amsterdam, you got to take the boats, the little dinghies.
The little dinghies.
Yeah, you know, the water
Norm,
taxis. That's the best.
Yeah,
That's where that's where you.
But are we talking about
I don't know.
biking on the lake or biking in the city?
Wait, so we're back in Chicago now?
We're in
Yeah,
Chicago.
All right.
Because to
So
me,
tell us
biking-
about your bicycle.
Biking in the city looks fun, but it also looks insanely dangerous.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have a bicycle, and I've still not really ridden my bicycle in the city because I'm scared shitless.
So
Because it's dangerous as shit.
it is. Yes, it is dangerous. It is not as well.
So really, you're just saying you're a thrill seeker.
Right.
All right.
Are you sponsored by Red Bull?
Let me tell you a story.
Yes. go ahead.
I've told you the story personally because I recommend to everybody and everybody out there listening, definitely do it. Once you do it, you will want to keep doing it. It's just plain and simple as that. Yes, it's scary. If you're scared, that means you are a human being who is rational, who has a brain that is working. So good for you. Congratulations on that.
Where is this?
Get a
going?
helmet. Buy a helmet first of all. You know that's a good thing.
Safety tips from Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Nilo's safety tips.
As
It's
a-
like
a
Mel
white-
Kiper's draft pick selections.
A wise person once told me
Oh, shit.
that if you wear your helmet, you look a little dumb, but you can take the helmet off. If you don't wear the helmet and you get hit in the head, you're gonna look dumb for the rest of your life. So wear a helmet. That's the first thing.
That's damn good advice.
Look, that is pretty good advice. I'm not gonna lie.
I was very scared the first time I was riding the bike in the city.
And do you wear a helmet?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
I have seen said helmets.
Yeah.
You do look like you might be slow.
All right. Anyway,
Safety.
But
Safety.
only for the moment, not afterwards.
look,
Safety
I'll
first.
tell you what first of all, I had to get the helmet partially because fear is good.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. So it says that it's good to be afraid, to be aware of the dangers that are out there. So get a helmet and then go ride in the small streets, side streets. Get really comfortable, first of all, just riding in the streets with other cars around on side streets. And I did that for a while in a few days where I just biked around the city, but trying to avoid as much traffic as possible. It's also, as a side tip, you can do it at night. Later at night. I mean, in the dark is kind of scary, but late at night, when there's no cars, there's much fewer cars on the road, and so it's just a lot. It feels a lot more comfortable. You'll be surprised. In fact, one of the best thrills that you can ever get is just riding the bike through the city in the middle of the night. Nothing better than riding as fast as you can, like through downtown. When at night at like 3 a.m, there's not a single other car out there, and you just like own the streets. And I swear, the Batman theme songs that playing in my head, like I own these. I mean, I felt like Batman. But anyway, I'm ranting here.
Joe Nilo.
So anyway,
Batman.
No, the reason that biking is by far the best form of transportation is because one, it's cheapest. All right, it doesn't cost you anything other than the bike. And the bike, you can buy a bike on Craigslist and you can sell it again on Craigslist for basically the same price you buy it for. All right, so it costs you pretty much nothing. 2, you don't have to pay for parking. 3, you can park anywhere damn well you want to. You can park you can park right in front of wherever destination you're going to. So you don't have to spend any time looking for parking. Besides the time wasted looking for parking. 4, it's faster than any and all other forms of transportation, especially during rush hour. You will fly past every other car, no question about that. 5, it's enjoyable. It feels great just to be outside, to feel the air blowing through your head, through your eyes or whatever. It's a great time. 6, you're in full control of your riding. In the car, like if you stop and see a pretty girl on the street, you can't just like go slow and check her out. And by pretty girl, I also mean like interesting looking bar and/or restaurant or store, whatever else you're looking at. But let's be honest, most of the time it's pretty girls. But on the bike,
Well, speak for yourself, there,
the bike,
soldier. Some people like to look at men.
You can go slow or you can go
flowers.
fast. You can go at whatever pace you want to go. In the car, you go as fast. You have to go as fast as the car behind you wants to go, otherwise they're honking, or as slow as the car in front of you is. But on biking, unless you're biking on Milwaukee during rush hour, you never run into any other traffics. Unlike in Amsterdam, Amsterdam is considered the biking capital of the world, but that's just because that's where the most bikes are. But it's worse than it's like rush hour traffic, but you're on a bike. You're just sitting there, not going anywhere, and you want to honk, but you don't even have anything to honk with. So anyway,
this has been Joe's rant.
Look, I'm not even done yet. All right, you also get exercise from biking. Okay.
Well, we're gonna move on a little bit here. Nobody thinks a taxi is a good form of transportation anymore, do they?
Not anymore. Now with Lyft and Uber.
Yeah, I want to know how taxi guys even make money anymore.
They are
also Ubering.
Downtown is full of them.
Still downtown, I imagine.
Well, because most people, even people who live outside of the city, they'll get a taxi because they know they can ask them.
And they may not have an Uber app.
And they can tell them exactly where they need to go, or hey, take me to this part, and they'll take you there. I have a friend who I work with who uses taxis on the regular, so they're still thriving, especially for the older generation.
Right.
But they will probably die out.
The only time I've used a taxi when I haven't is only been when my phone has died.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to.
Yeah. But
order an Uber.
What a safe backup for that issue. If your phone's died and you need it, you can get a cab.
That's true.
Yeah.
You can get a cab, so there's that.
But I have to say one thing to go against your bike. What's better than getting in a vehicle and not having any control? Because you get on a bus drivers don't give a fuck, okay? There's no traffic rules for a bus driver, all right? They cut people off, they move over, they just move the whole thing, and you have to either get the fuck out the way or move on.
That's correct.
So there's just something about going on, paying your money, sitting down, and say, hey, it's out of my hands. The bus driver's got to die. If the bus driver hits
you're probably not gonna die in a bus.
No.
If anything, the person who hits the bus will die.
Yeah, that's usually the case.
Yes.
Well, especially the case with the train.
And I submit to you, sir, if you on a bicycle get hit by a bus, you dead.
Or
at least severely injured.
If you are alive, though, you are paid for life.
That is also true.
And I gotta do another shout out to, in the interest of safety, to all the people who are considering bicycling out there. I really, as a side pet peeve, I am not one of the bicyclists who rants at people in the street.
You know what really grinds Joe's gears? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I know everyone out there who drives, you see the bicyclists who get really pissed off and they yell and shit, and they frankly, they're just dumb. Those guys piss me off, alright? Look, if you're riding your bike, and I can't recommend enough that you do go ride your bike in the city, but you have to be very aware of the fact that there's a very good chance that one of the cars doesn't see you. And yes, you might have the right of way some of the time. Sometimes they might cut you off and it is your right of way and the car gets in your way. The car's always going to win, okay? So you just gotta be aware that there is a very good chance that driver might not be in the city.
Let's be honest.
Look, Chicago's one of the best cities for biking in the world. We have really, really good bike paths everywhere in the city, and most people who drive in the city are aware that there's a lot of bicyclists. But if someone who is not familiar with the city is driving in, they don't know that, and they might not be looking for bicyclists. And or people are texting, because everyone texts while they drive now anyway.
True.
Or looks at Facebook.
Let's be honest though, bicyclists are the worst. They suck. Nobody likes them. They're assholes. This is just facts of life. You can make all of your arguments.
I'm just saying I am defending. Some of them are.
Shut your mouth. You admitted to me tonight
What?
that you fucking go through red lights all the goddamn time.
7.
Shut your
Perks
mouth.
to being a bicyclist. 7. You can go through red
Oh my
lights.
god, fuck
No.
you. You're the reason why everyone hates bicyclists in the goddamn city.
You don't go
stop
through the red
signs.
light.
I literally had one over here by my house. There's a fucking lady. I stop at the stop sign. A lady just goes right through the goddamn stop sign. If I had been, there was no cars, like nobody around. Like I should have just continued to go. It's a good thing I legitimately stopped at that stop sign, because if I hadn't and I had started to go, I would have hit that damn lady and I could have been in a, You're a vehicle on the road, motherfucker.
Your argument, guys, is making a baby cry. Just 11.
I'm not, okay, I am not, to be very clear, I am not arguing with Justin on this at all. You are 100% correct. She should have stopped. 1,000%.
But that's most bicyclists in the city in general. They don't obey the rules of the road. And they are technically a vehicle. Every time I do see a bicycle obey the rules of the road, I want to give that person a hug. Because that is amazing.
Okay, so to be fair, the cyclists who do obey the road are the divvy bikes, because they're so fucking heavy they can't really not
can't
obey.
do it. They'll be screwed.
So I obey the rules some of the times.
Okay. That sounds about accurate.
As in, if there is another car at the stop sign and they get to the stop sign first, I will stop. If I get there and there's a car around
when it is convenient to my safety.
Well, when there's other people or cars involved, that's when you do it.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to the stop sign and there's nobody around, I go through it. If I get to a red light and there's nobody around, I'm going through that red light. If there are other cars going down the street, of course I'm not going to go through the red light when there's other cars around.
One final thing though, the most annoying part about it though is when you get next to a cyclist who passes by you and you're like, okay, you've passed by me, and then you do that driving up thing where both of you are trying to figure out what's going to happen, so then the car finally gets around them, because there's cars parked on the side of the lane, so there's not many bike paths in certain places. You finally get around them, and then they pass back behind you again, and then you got to play that fucking game all over again until someone gets the fuck out the way. I hate that. I hate every part of it, because it scares me half to death to watch people get so close. I'm like, this person's going to die today. Possibly.
Also, all of you are wrong. The best form of transportation is Via, because it's cheaper than Uber and Lyft, and it only gets you around in Chicago. And if you don't have the Via app, you should get it.
Okay. Yeah, what the hell is Via? Are you sponsored?
No.
Are you getting money?
Via, not a sponsor yet of the Chicago City
Is it a drone?
Podcast. It's basically just an Uber or a Lyft, but it only takes you to certain areas of Chicago. It's like it doesn't like Uber and Lyft will take you to the burbs and stuff. Via is just the Chicagoland area. like up to about where I live. Like you can't get to.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
You can't. It doesn't take you past Lawrence.
So it's local Uber?
Local. It's
I
basically
thought
like a
you-
local Uber.
I
Yeah.
thought you meant that it only takes you to certain places. Like you can only just go. It's like okay, so we can take you around the corner, or we
Yeah.
can take you down the road about a mile and stop right there.
That's a really good business.
You have the train.
You have to be paid. You have to be paid by X restaurant or X destination. They pay you to.
Everyone just keep going to Giordano's. Like, how the hell is this happening? I asked to go downtown. Yeah, this is where it's stopping.
This is downtown. This is Giordano's.
So
I
I saw in the Onion that according to them the best, I believe it was called the best vehicle in its class was actually 4 really buff dudes carrying you on their shoulders.
Yeah,
That was from the
yeah.
Onion.
I mean,
Well, thank you, Onion. Also not a sponsor. So with
Yes.
that, let's moving right along.
Oh, no.
In other news.
We forgot
In
to talk
other
about-
news. In other news. In other news. So Cedric Benson died. Former Bears. This was supposed to be like a legitimate part of the
This
show.
is why we
And
started
because
that.
Joe's a fucking asshole.
No, I just wanted to talk about
No,
Elon
I
Musk.
said in utter news means in utter news means we are moving right along to a new topic.
Can Cedric Benson carrying you be one of the forms of transportation?
No, because he's dead, motherfucker.
oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's sad.
Yes, it is sad. Oh my god. So
He was driving a motorcycle.
he was,
That's
which is
far
a-
more
which is-
dangerous than a bicycle.
well, some people treat their bicycles like motorcycles, so let's go with that. But yes, Cedric Benson, former player of the Bears, 4th pick overall in the first round back in, I don't remember, 2007? 2006? It was after their Super Bowl year,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah, so he was number 32.
No. He was in the Super Bowl.
Was he?
Yes,
I
he
thought it
was.
Thomas Jones.
It was Thomas Jones and Cedric Benson. I believe that was either his rookie year or his second year.
Okay, maybe.
Guaranteed. Yeah,
Either
he played
way.
in the Super Bowl.
Either
He got
way.
more carries than Thomas Jones led most of the year. But
I mean, to be honest,
they
Thomas
gave,
Jones was the better back.
they
but-
gave the ball to Cedric Benson more in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I believe
we
he
all.
fumbled, too. He fumbled in
yes,
that
he
important
was.
game.
He was very highly rated out of Texas. He had I think he still holds the records in Texas for most rushing yards and touchdowns in Texas Longhorn history. But regardless, he was a highly rated prospect. The Bears picked him as the 4th overall pick in the first round. I do remember that a lot of us were like, "What the hell?" Because he wasn't. The Bears took him way higher than people thought he was going to be selected. And to take a running back that high is kind of silly because running backs' lifespans are not very long in terms of the NFL. But regardless, Cedric
Did you make
Benson.
a comment about his
Cedric
lifespan
Benson.
being not very long.
I said the lifespan of running backs. Yes, technically that is true, and also apparently it's accurate in this case because the man unfortunately died of a motorcycle accident. Which is sad. Like he had a couple of really good seasons with the Bears, then he started to fade off because even here in Chicago we were kind of like, oh, Thomas Jones is a little bit better, but he was a good dude from everything I remember. I mean, he was very talented, and then it's sad. That's not something we hear about. It wasn't like it's not like he didn't die of, let's say, what a lot of NFL players die. Like you hear all the things about the brain injuries and all that. I mean, he was riding a motorcycle, which is dangerous. I don't know all the details of it, but shout out to number 32, Cedric Benson. Listen, he was a Bear. He was always a Bear. He will always be a Bear. He was good on the Bears. So, rest in peace, Cedric Benson, or whatever. I don't know what to do. It's just sad.
It is sad.
It is sad. It's particularly. I mean, he was a young guy. 36 is pretty young.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was living it up. I mean, he made a lot of good money.
Yeah.
So I mean, unless he didn't spend it, he spent it on a motorcycle, I suppose. But
Yeah. But
still, sad.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear somebody that young dying over something frivolous like a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
That's sad. So and he was good on the Bears for a couple of seasons. And then after that, either way, R.I.P. Cedric Benson, number 32 from the Bears. Cedric Benson, we will miss you, sir. And the Bears did a couple of nice things for him, so that's sad. Another R.I.P., but in a more humoristic way, is to the kicker who just got cut by the Bears, which is, and I'm really sad about this because I started the hashtag Fry is the guy, and Fry is not the guy. Fry got cut, and it's now Eddie Pinheiro is the official kicker for the Bears. So congratulations, Eddie Pinheiro.
There should be a celebration of Pinheiro, not a mourning of Fry.
Well, still, no, it's a mourning because I hashtag Fry is the guy, and now Fry is not the guy. So that's why. But Eddie Pinheiro won.
Never. If Justin makes you his guy.
Yeah, don't fuck it up for me, man. Interesting though, because in the first preseason game, Fry made like a 48-yard field goal, and Pinheiro missed a 43. But then Pinheiro hit a 27-yard field goal or 23-yard field goal.
You're looking at me like I watched this.
And then you did, because we watched the first preseason game together at Rocks North Center on Lincoln Avenue. So shout out. Not a sponsor. What's up? The second preseason game, apparently, Fry missed like a 42-yarder. Pinheiro hit like a 40-something yarder, and then hit like an extra point. And then they're like, "Oh, that's enough for us." It's like, you wouldn't want to give like a third game, guys? I mean,
no.
It seemed like they were fairly even, so they got. I mean, Pinheiro is Italian, so I'm a little like.
Do the Bears really operate that way?
I have no idea. The McCaskies are weird, man.
Where they just like they had a hat. And they were like, okay, so which one? Which one? And then he made two. Like, okay, we'll go with him.
They borrowed the sorting hat from Harry Potter.
They're like, he made extra
and
points.
Fry,
Like
Pinheiro was like, the Bears. Really, Pinheiro? You seem more like an Oakland Raider to me. But okay, Bears, eh? All right, Chicago Bears. And then Fry came up and was like, you'll get no house.
Go home.
And then he gets banished to the forest. Yeah. So that's our kicker, Eddie Pinheiro. All right, guy. Don't please just don't doink. For the love of God, just don't.
It was like you were going as a character, like okay, Pinheiro, please don't fuck it up. Please don't
doink, and for God's sake, definitely don't double doink. I don't think we Bears fans can take another double doinker. It's just not possible. We will literally all kill ourselves. We'll be like, this world is crazy, baby.
Maybe we need.
This is not possible.
We all need T-shirts like you know how Joe Madden before the 2016 season, Joe Madden had those shirts that said "Try not to suck."
Yes. You know what, Eddie Pinheiro?
In fact, everybody needs those shirts. Those are the just don't doink. Don't doink.
Don't be a dick. Be a ditka and make some goddamn field goals. Okay. All right, well, moving right along.
Do we have
in other news? God, I just. All right. So
I don't know. Just let me go with it. Just let me go with it. And then
no, we have to let you on. We are already so far over.
Yeah.
That's what editing's for.
There will be no editing. This is a straight through, bro. There's no more editing. Moving right along. So, gentlemen, it is time for that wonderful time, that time where we get to talk about amazing things, because it is that time which is called the Jagoff of the Week! Alright, this week's Jagoff, I am super excited for this one. We're going to do a little bit of reading for this, because this is dope as shit. So, the Jagoff of the Week is...
We have to word this carefully, right?
Right, yes. So it's the Chicago... the Chicago Teachers Union delegation, which was a minority, smaller group that claimed to be representatives from the CTU, that ended up taking a group down to Venezuela, which ended up being a propaganda tour for socialism. So you're a bunch of jagoffs. What the hell is this? You're lying about who you are. You're defaming a good union. I'm not like a huge union guy, but it's still, whatever. Teachers, hello, yes. And then you're taking them to Venezuela to brainwash them to become socialists? What the fuck is that? You're a bunch of Jagoffs, okay? Don't do that. That's stupid.
So wait. Were they part of the teachers union or were they not part of the teachers union?
That is fantastic.
I think they were not like. They were considering themselves. They were calling themselves the Chicago Teachers Union delegation.
Here's direct words from the Chicago Tribune article. The recent trip to Venezuela by a group calling itself a Chicago Teachers Union delegation has upset some union members and expats who question the point of the tour and take issue with the group's praise of the country's disputed government. The 4 travelers, who crowdfunded the July trip under the banner of the CTU, met with the Venezuelan government officials and educators, visited a commune, and were featured in local media.
But why?
Because they wanted to show that it wasn't so bad in Venezuela. Even though if you ask anybody who's from Venezuela, they're like, yeah, we have to eat cats. Like, we're literally scrounging for rats and garbage because they are poor and have no food and have no shelter because their government is corrupt as shit. And they're like, it's horrific.
Yeah.
Like, anybody, that's why there's a joke. Like, if anybody who's Venezuelan who has money doesn't live in Venezuela anymore. They all moved because they're like, yeah, it fucking sucks there. I mean, they had a lot of money when they were selling oil, but then they, just like you do through socialism, they privatized the oil industry and then they kind of lied about what was happening, and then they ran out of oil and they're like, whoops-a-daisy, and they tanked their currency.
I mean, we can just
which is a very layman's abridged version. There's a lot more into that.
So we can separate this, right? Like, this isn't even about socialism. Like if you wanted to represent socialism, there are a lot better examples that they could have gone to other than Venezuela is the example that conservatives use to show failed socialism. Why would they pick that as the one they wanted to?
That is exactly the fucking point, Joe.
What the hell?
Socialism and communism has not worked anywhere.
Well, I think the idea is like even so. Karen Moody, a teacher and union member, said,
Yes.
"I'm appalled. A delegation representing themselves as CTU went to Venezuela not to support striking teachers, not to object to human rights violations, but to go on what appears to be a state chaperone propaganda tour." The idea that anyone was looking through some GoFundMe and went, "Oh, CTU wants to go to Venezuela. These 4 people want to go to Venezuela for Chicago, for Chicago teachers. Okay, let's give money."
I mean, if they were asking for money for books for students, no. I mean,
No,
I
screw that.
don't have time.
Children don't need to read.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, y'all want to go to Venezuela? Oh, please, by all means, they need our help.
Do they need? Wait, are they trying to help? They're not even trying to help Venezuelans.
No, they weren't trying to help
No,
anyone.
They were trying to
No,
help.
they literally were just like, wow, just taking photos like, look, there's no poverty here. We don't see any homeless shelters, but look at America. Capitalism, bad. Socialism,
This is
good.
just 4 people just happy that they're getting a free flight to Venezuela.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just like a
You can't really
cruise.
see it, but look at Chicago Tribune. You can
They're
look
all
at
white.
these people. I think
No, I don't think. Well,
yeah, I think
No. Actually, so this is a thing that I just because I was watching all these videos from this YouTube channel called Cut.
Mhm.
They're based in Seattle. And they did an episode where they had they're like, guess who's white?
Mhm.
Which I was just like, oh well, if you look white, you are white. But apparently, there are people of different shades of white that don't identify themselves as white.
Yeah.
What? Surprise to me, a white guy had no idea. So these people, although skin white pigmentation, if you will, may not identify themselves as white.
Kim Kardashian's white.
Are you allowed to do that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, technically you
Can
are.
I identify as not white?
You can,
I mean,
but
Yeah.
I mean you can't, but you could.
literally, you're Caucasian.
You would be lying. You would be lying because you are Caucasian. But some people are white, but they're like Lebanese, so technically they're Middle Eastern. Some people are, Venezuelan, so they would be Latino or Latina.
Like Kim Kardashian is like a 4th Lebanese?
She's
She's Armenian. So
Armenian,
theoretically,
Armenian,
that's
thank
right.
you.
So technically, she could
I
be
think we're
considered
digressing
non-white.
here.
No, we're just talking about these 4 idiots who are a bunch of fucking jagoffs because they fucking lied. They got a free fucking flight to Venezuela. They're clearly they're not.
Did they go to the beach or something?
Whatever.
Did they go to clubs?
We're not really sure where they went to. It doesn't look like they had time for that because it looks like they were really trying to push a narrative. However, I will say, what makes them even more jagoffs is it's not like Chicago teachers have much. Like, at least give that to some, like, how many Chicago teachers was like, I would like a trip to Venezuela? Like, that would have been nice.
Yeah. A lot of teachers would have liked that.
Most teachers were like, I would like paper in my classroom. That'd be nice.
They're
That
literally
would be
striking
nice.
now, right?
Yeah.
Because they want more money for themselves and for the schools,
Yeah.
I presume. But, I mean, they're also striking, they strike every year, so...
Why don't we fix that so they never have to strike again? I don't know. But we can spend a ton of money on a goddamn blue butterfly for the blue line.
That's
And
right.
a bunch of other park shit.
Right.
A butterfly?
It's a giant butterfly.
What,
Yeah,
I missed, what is this
the
butterfly?
the blue line.
Oh, what you should do is you should go to our original podcast, our first podcast episode. We discussed about that. Yeah, take a look at that.
Yeah.
Episode 1.
Pay attention, Joe. So yeah, that's a thing that
Yeah,
happened.
they're pure jagoffs, but I think
Oh, they're total jagoffs.
the benefit is that Chicago teachers don't play like they don't bullshit.
I am proud of the Chicago Teachers Union for
Yeah.
disavowing these 4 propagandists and jagoffs. Bunch of fucking jagoffs. Okay, you don't fucking parade around saying you're somebody that you're not without. I mean, come on. I mean, seriously though, fucking going to Venezuela and being like, look, socialism, yeah. Like, if you were gonna go anywhere to try and even prove socialism works, go to Scandinavia. Like, don't go to Venezuela.
Yeah.
At least Scandinavia is somewhat socialistic, not entirely, but at least close. Also, very heterogeneous in one
But see,
ethnic region.
That's why I want to know their narrative. Like, why did they do it? What was the purpose of it? And what they really try to accomplish? Because we don't have any of that right now.
Whose idea was did Venezuela like reach out to Chicago and
I don't think so.
are they all just deciding this on their own?
I think so.
They probably just decided on their own,
I
like,
think
hey,
so.
let's go and make
Yes.
a
See
case.
what,
Yeah.
see what this is about.
Yeah.
I think we should do can we do a field trip to Venezuela?
No, I don't. There's definitely one. There's a few places in the world I
He's
don't want
like,
to go.
I'm not going to Venezuela.
One of them is fucking Venezuela.
But we gotta show
It
the
is
world
not
that it's
good.
good, that it's so nice.
No, it's not nice. That's the whole point. It's not nice. It's not nice.
Have you ever been to Venezuela?
No, I talked to Venezuelans. Even Venezuelans are like, don't go there.
Have you been
It's
to
bad.
North Korea?
No. Stop it. You're being a jagoff. Stop it now. Get out of here, guy.
So next time you see us, Chicago 60 Podcast, location, Venezuela.
Yeah. We're on location here in Venezuela.
Just letting you know where we are.
Hashtag the socialism. Yeah,
It's
but that's
working.
It's working.
At least for us.
Everybody gets a slice of bread.
I don't see any homeless people here.
Yeah.
No, okay. Now let's also
That's
be.
because they're all dead.
I mean, let's be a little fair.
Ah,
They have some points that there are a lot of problems with the, with the city of Chicago, with the school system. The teachers were complaining that apparently they had homeless kids in their classrooms, kids going to school but they don't have a home. That's a problem. It's a problem we need to solve. I'm not sure we should be looking to Venezuela for that solution. Not the best suggestion out there, but at least they're coming up with ideas.
But maybe in time we'll actually get some information on what they spent that money on exactly.
A plane, I guess.
I thought it was just.
Well, they met with local governments.
Unless
so-
they took a boat,
Yeah,
in which case
okay.
Norm's going to be very upset.
I'm gonna be very pissed off.
But
no,
I mean, honestly
know-
though, there are a lot of, and they're not. There are a lot of people who would be considered leftists, not even liberals, leftists. Okay, those are two distinct terms, and these individuals more than likely are leftists because there are plenty of liberals out there that even leftists are just not fans of, which is hilarious because that's where it all started. That's what liberalism was supposed to be. But I digress. But there's a lot of people, and somebody mentioned it earlier, that people on the right and conservatives will point to Venezuela and say, see, socialism, bad, fail. Duh. Now, I'm definitely a proponent of capitalism because I live in America, and I love America. And yay, capitalism. Adam Smith, capitalism. Enron, capitalism. But anyway, I digress. So these people desperately want to go to Venezuela to show any proof that it's working there so that they can have a case to combat this. But it's just not true. But so to use funds and to call yourself, I mean, part of a union that's pretty proud, like Chicago Teachers Union, a pretty proud organization. I mean, they're not happy about it. Then again, they're not doing anything to actually help teachers. The Chicago Teachers Union is to help teachers in Chicago. What the fuck does that have to do with fucking Venezuela?
Okay, but to be fair, when they captured the post that they made on Twitter, there was 4 retweets, 19 likes, and 9 comments. Who the fuck cares where they're going? No one, like, who are they preaching to? Because there's no one else but the other teachers. So half of them are like, wait, who? Why is Sydney's ass in Venezuela?
I'll tell you exactly what it's supposed to do. So they go to Venezuela, and they want teachers in school. This is like legitimately a thing. They want teachers to start teaching how socialism is not a bad form of government, and that capitalism is evil, and that the structures and the foundations of America and how it was founded is corrupt and filled with white supremacy and everything else, and the solution is socialism. So when going to Venezuela, they'll be like, hey, look, it's really not that bad. It's pretty awesome. People are doing these things. Yada, yada, yada. Cool. And so then the teachers will be like, oh, see, it's not so bad in Venezuela. So when they teach about it, they'll be like, see, Venezuela has a socialistic government. Here are a bunch of photos. It's really good. And then young children will grow up thinking, oh, socialism, good. Then they get to college. Safe spaces. Inundation into spheres where they are not being exposed to different ideas, primarily conservative ones, or just any other idea, even liberal ideas, they're being sheltered away from. So these kids grow up thinking socialism is great. The United States was built on horrific tendencies, foundations, principles that are get to college. The colleges are already have tons of leftist professors. This has actually been put out in journals and statistics wise where they've done studies on this. It's the universities, particularly not like if you go to a business school, there's may not be tons of leftist people, but typically in liberal arts and stuff, it's definitely that way. And they get you have all these kinds of crazy degrees. We talked about the chick with the minimum wage problem and gender studies and stuff like that. These are all majors that are typically run by people who would not even liberals, leftists. I want to make that a clear thing, because I have no problem with people who are liberal. I have a lot of friends who are liberal.
Difference between these
but leftists are definitely way different, and so they're trying to make the youth in America through these teachers say that America was founded poorly, socialism is the only other way to do it, and then basically change how America functions today by providing these examples, and that's why they're actually doing it.
But once again, we're talking about CPS, okay?
I know.
So we can't get paper. so that is probably correct.
But they can get
but
money
we can't get paper.
They can get money to Venezuela.
But they have a PowerPoint to show
photos. Wait. What if?
So here's me at the beach.
Exactly.
Now here's me with no homeless people.
Exactly.
Because we went to the resort.
Yes.
The one resort in all of Venezuela.
Look, they've got swimming pools, they've got food.
That's
It's bananas.
We didn't even have to pay for the food. It was included.
Everyone in this room is just livid. Everyone in this room is just pissed off.
Alright, well that's a better proposal. I was going to suggest, what if they didn't actually go to Venezuela? What if they just said they did and they just photoshopped all the photos and they just kept the money for themselves?
That's possible.
I mean, they should have just given them to, buy books or whatever. Do people even read books anymore? Do kids need books? I don't know.
That's why we need to know how much, and we're going a little long, but that's why we need to know how much they spent, how much money was given. Because I'd love to know, because once that number comes out,
and why is there...
the fire.
Can we, wait, alright, we have a homework assignment. We gotta find this crowdfunding page, and we gotta see what other crowdfunding things are... We gotta see what other crowdfunding things are going on from the Chicago Teachers Union, because I want to know
well, just one, what other proposals there are, and two, and I want to know what people are not funding. What are people choosing to not fund instead of paying?
That would be interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Paying
Because
for Venezuela.
what I would like is exactly what Norm has alluded to, which is let's buy supplies, let's increase teachers' salaries, which is important.
If such a crowdfunding page for like raising money for the schools does not exist, we need to make that. Right?
That's a thought, yeah. Technically, we do pay their salaries through taxes, so basically,
No, we're not
want to pay
asking
taxes
to give
and then
to the
pay
teacher.
more
No.
money.
Not,
Good
but
for you, man. Give
for
away
whatever,
$400.
But I would like, I mean, what if we did do something in a crowdfunding sense where we're like, this is for public school supplies. This just goes to supplies to the school that they're like,
So
give
kids
me
who
out.
can't afford supplies can
Get
get that would
them.
be good.
yeah.
However, our money
Or
is
how
supposed
about to
go
pay for
towards-
some
Yeah,
kind
but
of
our
like
money-
counseling?
But what does our
for
money
the-
really go to?
But this is Chicago,
Exactly.
so who the fuck knows?
But I mean, hopefully with the
Pritzker's bathrooms.
Probably.
yeah.
Well,
Right.
anyways, you're a bunch of jagoffs, and stop getting money from crowdsourcing and crowdfunding to take private vacations to fucking Venezuela, and then tell everybody socialism is great, because it ain't. And fuck you, you jagoffs. All right. Moving right along, in other news. And the other news is that if you enjoyed this episode of the Chicago 60 Podcast, then please follow us on Facebook at Chicago 60, spelled out SIXTY. That's at Chicago SIXTY on Facebook. You can find us there because we're coming out with all those sketches and things on there. So check it out and follow and like because your likes help us do content. Also, you can go to Instagram at Chicago_60. Those are with the letter or the numbers this time. Chicago_60. Lots of cool photos and other things coming out there, particularly in the next couple of months. You can also go to YouTube, which I highly recommend you do, and look up Chicago 60, and then subscribe and hit the little notification bell because you can then watch us in older episodes of the podcast. You will also be able to see all these sketch comedy videos and short films we're coming out with. And there's going to be a lot. Plus, hashtag the beef off. The beef off. The beef off. Which we will tell you about in a future episode. But things like that will be on the YouTube channel, which you won't be able to see if you're not subscribing to a YouTube channel. So do that. Also, if you're listening to this on iTunes and you haven't already subscribed, well, that's silly. Do it right now. What are you waiting for? Subscribe. And also leave us a 5-star review because you know you like this show. You know you think we're funny. So please do that because that's going to make us that money eventually. So do that. Also, you can go on to Spotify. We're going to be on Spotify beginning in September. So you can go on to Spotify. And we might even be on Apple iTV or whatever the other fucking things that I figure out we can be on. And then we'll be on those things. But primarily, go to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and iTunes. And then Spotify. And follow us there. And share our stuff. Follow and like us. Please and thank you. Yes, so gentlemen, that was another episode of the Chicago 60 Podcast. And we have to end every episode the same way.
Always.
Our favorite phrase
Number
of
one.
all time. And
All time.
because the Chicago Bears season has begun and the preseason games have started and the Bears have lost both games because who cares because it's the preseason and of course they're playing not their starters because it's the preseason, and Matt Nagy thinks that we should not be playing any starters because it's the preseason. But you know what is going to happen is that we're going to play the Packers in the first game on September 5th. And we're going to be out at the CBTC doing a live pregame show at the tailgate, which is across from Reggie Bar. Okay, so go there, come check out the live pregame show where we're going to be talking about the Bears playing our most hated rivals of all time, the dreaded Packers. And we got one big message we gotta say to the Packers, okay? And that is, bear down and fuck the Packers. All right, thanks everybody. We shall see you next week.
Next week.
And that's where it ends.
Yeah.
This is the after show for two people watching. Bye 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 bye.